Hello there, welcome back. Right, let me start at the beginning. I've moved my boat round from Ipswich to Eastbourne. My friend John has come down from North Wales, John Morgan from the Portmaddock Sailing Club, and kindly offered to drive me back to pick my car up and take me back home to North Wales, which is very good of John. So he stayed, had a curry and a few beers, and the next day we set off. We went and picked my car up and took it back to North Wales. So thank you very much for that, John. When I was at North Wales, my brother decided I was having far too much fun on my own, so he wanted to come along with me. He wanted to give me a hand, really, and make sure his little brother got home safely. But there you go. So my brother Jim, Jay, and James, depending on how you know him, jumped on board with me at Eastbourne, and this is the rest of the story from there as onwards.
Welcome to the visitors' berths at Eastbourne Marina, and there's the way in and out, so it's ideally situated for getting in and out to there, and there she is waiting for me. Looking backward on exit is nice easy exit and a nice easy way in, so Eastbourne's a safe haven that's easy to get in and out of. I've now got my big brother on the boat with me, so it's a bit of company on the journey and an extra pair of hands to make life easy should I need them. And here he is, looking very happy ish, maybe, and I'm sure he's just settling in. Well, we've a spinnaker run all day today because we got light airs, and we got these white cliffs with us as well, so we've got nice water, very slight waters, light airs, sunshine, and literally beautiful scenery all around us. So what's not to enjoy? My bro's just starting to get into it, and he's starting to do his own passage planning on his phone in the cockpit and working out things that he would be doing differently from me, and giving me options, which is always good. But I think he should get a bit of video for himself because you don't see it like this very often. That's behind me, Beachy Head. Get my hand out of the way. Beachy Head behind me. Hey, this is the life. My bro's just started work now. He's decided that running downwind we should have a preventer on the boom. So he's just stuck a preventer on the boom. So yeah, normally when I'm on my own I don't normally bother too much about things like that. But he likes the little details because he teaches sailing. Right, well, our run today is not too long. It's a light airs run, and we're doing about 21 nautical miles. We've moved from Sovereign Marina where we were last night, and we shall be arriving in Brighton Marina very shortly in the sunshine. Yeah, and here we are in Brighton Marina. This is what I call a very easy access marina. Easy in and easy out, no messing around. And as you can see, there's plenty of space and plenty of boats, and they go back for miles, and they put you right at the beginning. So it's easy when you want to depart in the morning, like we are now. Now there's no wind at all, as you can see, which isn't brilliant for a sailing boat, but unfortunately that's life. So we've set off under the motor, which has never sounded very happy. Mr. Forecast says in a couple of hours we might get some light airs coming in, but it doesn't look like anything other than bin bags at this moment in time, so we haven't even got a choice of trying to sail. We did put the main up before and the foresail up, but nothing happened. Things just shake round. My bro's decided to get some more Zeds in, I think. I hope he doesn't burn in the sun. More of these really strange clouds, come in stripes they do. The water, well, it's all just still bin bags. There's not a breath of air on top of that at all. Proper little mill pond that is. And then it happened. Look at the speed we're making now. How are we going this fast? Oh dear. We're getting a tow. Why are we getting a tow? The engine packed in. We had to put out a pan. There was a fishing boat right next to us, but he was too busy to help us. But we were lucky that a chap called Miles come across from the Sussex Yacht Club, in his boat and very casually asked us did we want a tow and threw us a line. Told us he was off to Shoreham. That's pretty good. That's where we've more or less just come from, and now we're on our way back. Well, Miles, we can't thank you enough. And we had lots of help and advice from Lady B Marine while we were there. And we had to go on a bus ride to go and collect some fan belts from another place, which was miles away. The other place was called Peter Leonard Marine on a little island in New Haven, and it was an absolutely fantastic place. We needed the little fan belt that drove the coolant pump, the raw water coolant pump, and they're the only place who had it, and they had 3 in stock. That's a brilliant stockist. This place here, however, saved our bacon with some other parts. Motorcycle front wheel bearings, 6 202s, exactly the same as what you need for a Yanmar raw water pump. And there you go, 2 new bearings, rebuilt it in the cockpit. It took us about 25 minutes. We had the correct tools on board and we were away. And what an amazing moment that was, I'll tell you. Because I was beginning to think we'd never get going. Well, we're away. We've still got bin bags on the water, we've got the sails up, and we've got a bit of wind in the forecast, but not a lot. So it's fingers crossed job that we can actually get somewhere. The mainsail was flogging its head off, so we've put it back down and we're just motoring along, but at least we can motor along at a couple of knots. We're doing about 3.5 knots through the water because that's about where the engine's happy. Any more than that and it seems to take a fit of shakes. It seems to be able to ride through that, but it still shakes a bit further up, and I'm thinking that maybe it's not injecting an even amount of fuel, but I don't honestly know. So anybody who's had a really shaky Yanmar 2-cylinder engine in mid-revs, if they know the answer, let me know. And it's just as well we fixed the engine because we motored all day. And this is the overfall area by Selseyville, and as you can see, where it's pushed up and risen, it's actually rippled on top of the water, and where it's from the Solent flat on the other side of the bank in front of us just there, the water's completely flat, and as you see the wave just settles to nothing on the other side of it. A really strange airy sensation just there with no wind on the water, knowing that this has got the ability to be a right lumpy ride if it wants to be. And the reason we're out, not inside the buoyage, and we're outside the buoyage is I figure if that's the deepest spot, because the water's moving against us, then it's probably moving quickest in between where the deepest spot is. Send you to sleep, that water, wouldn't it? And yet it's still bumpy back there. And like a cup of coffee over here. Just heading across the Chichester Bar. We want to head around the corner a little bit and drop our hook just south of Stocker's Sands. That's a tongue twister, isn't it? And it's actually a lot darker than it looks at this moment in time. Camera picks up a lot of light. Once at anchor, a well-earned tinny.
See you fine.
Or a glass of wine, as it was actually. We had a couple of glasses of wine that night. A lovely calm night, but then we'd had a lovely calm day. Our anchor light is keeping the cockpit a little bit lit and making a shadow on different things. It really is pitch all around us. It would be nice if we had a bit of moonlight tonight. It's not quite itching, but it's nearly there.
The anchorage.
It's the anchorage, yeah. We made it in late, very late, just going pitch black, as you can see outside. There's pitch black. So we're having a cockpit drink now because it's really warm, which has made a change because every other evening's been freezing. So we're glad that we're here anyway. A bit of a long run because we set off late, but that's another story. Laters. What's this? Bright lights over the horizon? No, it's a firework display. I actually realised they must have known we were coming. They've seen that we've arrived, so they're sending up some fireworks. That's very nice of them. And it was very pleasant to sit there having a nice drink, watching a bit of a firework display going on across the way. Thank you for the welcome. There's a biggie.
There's your finale.
Wow. See, they knew we were coming. The next morning, I was up at first light, and it was a cracking looking dawn. Our trek from the day before, just over 34 nautical miles, which wasn't too bad considering we set off about 2 o'clock and we arrived it was just going dark. We had a decent night's kip. The water was quite calm here all night and the breeze is just starting to get up a little bit. It was a decent anchorage and there was a few other boats keeping us company in the anchorage. There's a boat that's disappeared and another one that arrived even later there. Well, we're going to go down to Itchenor next, which is just down the river a little bit. And the reason we're going down there is there's a beach that you can dry out on. And we want to dry the boat out. This beach was free to use for 24 hours and it's a lovely pebbled beach that you can dry out on. There's piles you can grab hold of. We run some ropes up across the beach before we came on it. We stopped on a pontoon first. We had to pay for the visit on the pontoon, but there's a big concrete block to choose from. So we run some lines up on it. We got a cross current, but we run into the current, picked the line up, and then just waited for the tide to go out. But there's, I guess, boats scrub here all the time, and there's a couple of scrubbing berths knocking around. Obviously, you're supposed to sit between those posts, but we wanted to be a little bit further up the beach, so we'd have a bit more working time. Waiting for the tide to go. Oh, well, we watched the shallow howl moment, if anybody knows what that means, and then enjoyed just waiting for the tide to disappear, which took forever. Well, we refloated in the dark and we decided to go back to the anchorage that we were at the night before and drop our hook again because we were comfortable at the anchorage and it would save us a little bit of time getting off the next morning. So what had we been doing all night? Or should I say all day? We pulled the prop shaft off, we pulled the rope cutter off, we drove the cutlass bearing out, we drove a new cutlass bearing back in. We never bothered putting the rope cutter back on. We checked the prop as much as we could for any imbalance and alignment and that, and then banged it all back on. And we've still got this throbbing sensation when she gets up to about 1800 RPM. So we've got to work on something else next. This shot, believe it or not, is the moon at night with a long aperture. It almost looks like daylight, but this is actually daylight. This is us first thing in the morning, departing Chichester Harbour. We've got a little bit of a run ahead of us today and we plan on trying to make as much time up as we can do because we're supposed to have some decent breeze for a change, as we've had nothing for the past couple of days. The weather is changing a little bit though. The high pressures have gone and low pressures are moving in, and that's why we had a lovely warm night in the cockpit the night before last. Well, we're at the east side of the Solent with the aim of sailing obviously to the west side of the Solent and further afield if we can. We are going to push tide because obviously tide and time don't work with us, and we wanted to do most of our sailing in the daylight. So we're setting off now and we're going to book tide for the first 6 hours, which means we've got a strong spring tide coming through the Solent against us and we're going to have to push into it, and we don't know how well we're going to go just yet, and our fingers crossed because there's plenty of wind. Well, as it happens, because wind and tide are against us and the boat actually likes going into the wind a bit, the wind and tides being together are keeping the fetch down and keeping the water quite flat, and because the water's quite flat, Seamer Chile can slip along quite quickly into it, and we're averaging 4 to 5 knots over the ground against the tide, which is making me really happy at this moment in time, because if we can get 4 or 5 knots when we're against the tide, what the hell are we going to get when we're with it? Well, it's a busy old place for shipping, watching boats coming in and out and having to dodge them and work out which routes they're taking. It's okay for those people who know, but for people like us who don't know, we have to play everything by ear as we're going along. We're not going to hit each other. I've worked out he's faster, so he'll cross me bow, so I'll just stand on. This is the entrance to Cowes, and a lot of traffic flying in and out of here. A lot of boats all hanging around the outside as well, playing games. But it's a boat mecca, so I suppose that's what happens, isn't it? Sorry for panning too quickly. Camera's not settling at all. Well, there you go. There's the breakwater. And there's another boat to dodge, but he's coming in behind us, so we're quite happy. Mr. Red Funnel. I suppose he's the busy taxi boat from the island, back and forth, back and forth. It's a pity we haven't got more time on this trip, but it's more of a delivery trip than it is a holiday, or we'd be in and out of all these places. Want to get back really as soon as I can do. Hurst Point, I think it is. The sea's trying to eat it. Opposite that, up the end of the Isle of Wight, is the infamous Needles. And as we round this corner, we're now departing the Solent, and we've done it all against tide and wind, and we've just got now slack water about an hour or two ahead of us, and then we'll have tide with us. So where we'll get to then, oh, fingers crossed. Well, now we've just passed Anvil Point, and we've got like lumpy overfally water, and this is going to carry a little bit further on to St Albans Head, where there is a tide rip, and I've decided what we're going to do when we get to the tide rip is take the inshore passage. But I think it's very inshore passage, like 20 metres off the rocks, and I don't think there's any growlers around that area, or I haven't seen any on charts or anything, so I'll just sit this bumpiness out, which is going really smoothly actually, and hopefully we'll carry our wind all the way, although that as we're getting closer towards the cliff faces, the airs are getting a bit lighter. We're just coming to the inshore part at St Albans Head now, where we're missing out on the tide rip, but we've got to come quite close inwards. And there was a big tide rip, and it was probably around the region of 15 foot, 10 to 15 foot high rolling wave right the way across, so we were glad that we went on the inshore where there was nothing. This is Portland Harbour. It wasn't a planned destination, and we're going a little bit further up. We're going into a little port north of it called Weymouth, only because we like the little places better than the big places. Today's been a cracking sail, and we've covered quite a distance. We have over 65 nautical miles for this little route here, and what makes it even better was our top speed was 9.1 knots over the ground. We made some new friends while we were in Weymouth, as you can see, some salty fellas. And yes, of course, you're right, we could have got much further, but there was a gale warning forecast, and we thought, well, we'll play our cards safe and we won't sail into that gale during the night. We'll go to the pub and we'll have a couple of beers. And that was well worth doing. It was a good decision, and we had a nice time in Weymouth. So until next time, I shall say one thing: bon voyage.